Previously recorded podcast.
All right, welcome to Previously Recorded. I am your host, RP, as always. And this finale to our Mission Impossible rewatch is brought to you by our Redbubble and TeePublic store, as well as Totally Tees, because why not? So, joining me today are fellow agents of the IMFPR team.
Nice.
Yeah.
Possible Mission Force Puerto Rico.
We're a part of the real one, but not really.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah, thank you.
I also always wanted to be Puerto Rican, so I'll take it.
Yeah, there you go. So as you can hear, those are the voice of my two co-agents, Bob and Shane. Guys, welcome back to the podcast. Been some time.
What's up?
It happens, man.
I got to correct you there. This is the finale, part 1.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Sorry. Well, the finale of
And
our
apparently,
rewatch.
the finale of our rewatch, but part 1. But apparently, they're going to do 3 more anyway.
Yes, and I'm not mad about it. But I was
I'm gonna get mad. I'm gonna get to the Fast and the Furious level. This is like every time. Go ahead, just start us off. We can get to it in a second.
Yeah, no, but their levels of ridiculousness are still like tame compared to.
That's what I mean.
Fast
So like every
10.
time I talk to somebody about Mission Impossible now, because it's like something that we've watched so much of, so it gets brought up.
Yeah,
I'm like, they're like, wow, there's 7 movies. Is it like Fast and the Furious? I'm like, it's not though.
no, because it's
It's like
each
Fast
one-
and Furious if the movies keep getting good. Like,
yes,
It's like Fast and the Furious if 6 was still good after 5.
I like 6, 7's whatever.
I don't
The-
remember 6 to be
The
honest.
thing about these movies is like, while some of the stunts are like crazy, they have to be grounded, and I think that's all Cruise is kind of we've talked about through this whole thing is like they're grounded while they are near impossible. There's always that. Oh wait, this is like could happen. Like somebody could do this.
Yeah, like it's crazy that they are.
Yeah, and like you say this because Tom Cruise does do it.
And I also do appreciate in like the last, I guess, 2 movies, I think more so than the ones prior. They like acknowledge how ridiculous some of the stuff is. Like the motorcycle thing in 7, that was like the big hype around the movie. Everybody, that was all the like the trailers, or not the trailer, but like the sneak peek that they would show you at the movies where he just jumps off the motorcycle and basically like free falls, or I don't know what that's called. It's not skydiving, but whatever it is.
Parachute.
Like the entire base jumping, I think that's what it's called actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
The entire like lead up to that is Benji
Yeah.
basically like knowing that he's gonna have him do this, but like not letting Tom Cruise know. Like it like made sense where it's like, all right, this is crazy.
And it's funny because we'll get to it, but like the build up to that jump scene was like a half hour, which I kind of appreciate it. But this movie came out a couple weeks ago, came out July 12th in theaters. But it's kind of gotten lost in the shuffle of the Barbenheimer, which Bob and I did, and Shane did the Heimer.
Yep, just 1/2 still.
Yeah. I will say it was an incredible experience. These 2 weeks of Mission Impossible, Barbie, and Oppenheimer, it was awesome. People were excited. The theaters were packed.
We're getting a crazy summer for movies.
Yeah, it's a really good jam-packed summer. And there's a movie each week, at least in July. Man, since kind of June, there's a movie each week that if you wanted to go to the movies, you could be like, oh, this is justifiable, and go and sing. Whether you really care about it or not, you had Spider-Verse, and then after Spider-Verse was Transformers, which I know they're very whatever, but if you were like, oh, I want to go to the movies, I want to see something, I'll probably be entertained about that. And then after that, like 2 weeks was Indiana Jones, same situation. And then after that, literally like a week and a half after that was Mission Impossible, Barbenheimer. Next week is Haunted Mansion, followed by TMNT. And then
you placing Haunted Mansion on the same scale as
well, I said Transformers too. So I mean, like,
yeah, but it was to start, and then to be like Barbenheimer, and then obviously we have Haunted Mansion coming out soon.
Well, I'm just saying, like, it's just we're talking about a jam pack. They're not on the same
in
level.
reality. It's just Barbenheimer again.
Yes, but it's going to be Barbenheimer for the next 3 weeks.
And we
like,
know that because
truly.
Oppenheimer is sold out in IMAX until like the middle of August.
I check every day because I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna grab one if I can for when I come back. Why not? And I can't. I've never seen a film like this where the IMAX is sold out. King of Prussia is the one of the 19 IMAX across the United States that is like the true 70 millimeter IMAX that Christopher Nolan intended, and it's fully sold out.
It's like crazy to me that he made a movie for 19 theaters.
Yeah, he did it. Same thing
He's
with
the
Dunkirk.
ultimate film bro.
Yeah, he is. He did the same
He's
thing
what they
with
aspire
Dunkirk.
to be. He's
Speaking
like
of-
he's king of the film bros.
Mhm.
He is, but speaking of King of the Film Bros, not to redirect it all, but Chase just napping in the background behind RP right now is
Chase-
electric.
Chase had an eventful day. He was at doggy daycare for the first time all day, and he's pooped. Not that this is any different from what he
Yeah,
does all the time, but
Normal
Much
Chase.
like the film bros, he was at Doggy Daycare Network and all day. He looks exhausted.
He's really
Yeah.
trying to get his indie film off the ground, and the
Yeah, he
other
is.
dogs
He's-
at Doggy Daycare just aren't into it.
the dog days are over, man. Like
Well-
he's putting the work in.
Not now, obviously, because Chase supports the writers' strike, but
Yeah.
he is still. You're never not networking.
Well, he's
Chase-
writer director on his indie film, so like he's
Chase-
both sides.
He's supporting the writer strike. Perfect time to get his indie film off the ground because they're letting A24 make movies because they're agreeing
Chase
to all the
knows.
terms.
Chase
Perfect
knows
time for
the-
Chase.
the big studios will just buy out, hit their rights.
Yeah, Chase don't work with no scabs though.
No, he's trying to get the network to fund it, and I keep telling him it's not there. Like you got to go elsewhere.
Clearly, that's an exhausting thing.
It is.
He can make a really good series with Netflix that they'll just cancel after one season for no reason.
or a really bad show that Netflix puts out
Yeah,
and still
that goes
cancels
9
after.
seasons.
Or a
Or
really good show that they do for 3 seasons, then recast their lead.
The Witcher, which I heard season 3 has been bad. I don't watch it, but I've
I
heard
love
it's been
season
bad.
3. Season 3 did not need to be 2 parts, so I watched the first 7 episodes or whatever, 5 episodes. It was
That is just a show I do not give a shit about. I could not get into it.
Part 2 came out today. I literally just watched episode 1
Yeah.
of part 2 and was like, well, one, if you're going to cut it, they cut it at the wrong time. They should have cut it after this episode, not the last one.
Mm.
And 2, you should have just ran through the season. Like, it wasn't like Stranger Things where it's like, oh man,
I think they probably
groundbreaking thing, and
they
now
pro-
you're going to make me wait.
they probably thought it was going to be like people were going to be that excited for it, but just like fans were excited for Mission Impossible and Barbenheimer.
And they broke it into 2 films.
They did break it into 2 films. And there's a lot in this film. There's a lot. It is a quick, just like Oppenheimer. It's a nearly 3-hour film, and it's quick. It's a very fast moving. You don't feel the runtime.
I think I felt it less with this than Oppenheimer, but
Yeah, I don't know.
urination came into play.
Oh yeah, that
Always
that
a
was-
dangerous
that
game.
does-
Yeah, that always
You-
makes it seem longer when you're like, oh wait, I gotta pee.
I played a risky game. We went to Iron Hill before the movie,
Yeah,
and
I've
I
had a
had
couple beers.
we both had a couple beers, and I had a soda.
Yeah,
Same.
that's bad. That's
Yeah,
bad
same.
news.
We
Plus-
we broke the seal as you
Uh,
should before the movie.
I didn't get up. I did not get up out of my seat.
Plus, once
I did
that
it.
buzz from the beer wears off, I just get sleepy too. So I would have been fighting
good
having
news,
to
it was
pee
like-
and falling asleep.
I don't really know that I had much of a buzz because we had like 2, and they're like the craft beers that are like
They were really good though.
I don't like. I think I was fine.
So, all right.
Also afraid of that, Shane.
Before we get into Mission Impossible, couple sentences. What did you guys think of Oppenheimer, Shane? Since we haven't really talked to you, you didn't see it with us. You saw it recently. We didn't really talk about it. What'd you think?
I really enjoyed it. I'm a big fan of Cillian Murphy, and just the whole cast was just ridiculous. Like even if they're only in it for like one scene, I felt like the whole movie every 5 minutes. I'm like, oh shit, he's in this too.
Mm-hmm.
He was really good. Matt Damon was really good. Emily Blunt, just everybody was just awesome in this movie. I said it earlier already. I want him to get the Oscar just so he could be in every movie
Yeah.
coming up.
Out of
I
5
just
stars.
want more of them.
Out of 5 stars, what do you give it?
Go like 4.
Okay.
Honestly, I would like towards the end, I was really tired and I was like fighting to keep myself awake. So I would have to watch it again to give it a fair score.
Okay. Bob?
All the same stuff. I liked it. I didn't realize that it was like I thought it was going to be more bomb centric, and the fact that it wasn't. I guess I said like I was explaining it to people the other day, and I said like I think it was Shane actually. So like first hour pre-bomb, second hour the bomb, and then Katie made everything clear that the third hour would be after the bomb, and she was correct. But it's not like that clean of a cut, but I did really like it because I just thought it was interesting. I gave it 4.5 because I don't give out 5s really. But like, yeah, I liked it. I liked the actors in it a lot. There was a lot of, which I think is like kind of common knowledge now because of Twitter and stuff like that. Like a lot of names that I didn't know that kind of just like popped. Like Josh Hartnett plays like a major role, which like we talked afterwards. Like that guy was in every like teen heartthrob when I was like 13 years old, and I don't think I've seen him yet there since. Like it was Pearl Harbor, and then he disappeared, and then he's back for Oppenheimer. He just loves World War II based films, or anything that's going to attack Japan. I guess he's on board for.
Very anti-Japan.
Yeah, Josh Peck.
He was in it for
2 seconds,
maybe the most important scene, and then never again.
Yeah, just super important. He just is there, and then he's gone again. So yeah, just like star-studded, but then also like the extra names that were in it were just like, oh, I know that guy. Like stuff.
Rami Malek was in it for about 2 minutes.
Yeah, Rami Malek had like a very minor role, and I was like, wow,
but big
really
role.
that dude.
Minor character, big role.
Minor for like until like he popped up initially.
He's
I don't think he said a word.
He's in at 1/20th of the film. Like it really.
I would argue he's in less. I think he probably has 2 minutes of screen time total.
Yeah,
I got really excited for Gary Oldman when he popped up too.
I did the Leo thing. I pointed.
Yeah,
I was like,
it took me a second, and I was like,
yeah.
Once he started talking,
I love Gary
the makeup.
Oldman.
He started talking. I was like, oh shit, it's Gary Oldman.
Yeah, exactly.
So Bob, you got to do the Barbenheimer. Quick thoughts on Barbie and your
Barbie.
rating.
It was really funny. I liked it a lot. I've said to a lot of people, like I had practice today, and the girls were asking me how I liked it because they knew I was going last week, and a couple of them were going today, and I said that was good, but like my movie going experience, I did not enjoy, and it soured me on the film. Like I just keep harping on it. Obviously, it's a movie that we all knew was going to be like women empowering, which I love, and I think that that's great. But like there was a specific scene that was it's like the emotional climax of the movie, and the woman in front of me in the theater, like RP was there, just like yelled and was like, Jesus Christmas, tell me about it. And then people started like cheering and clapping, and I was like,
yeah, it took me out of it for a hot second too.
Like, I was like kind of mad about it, and then I couldn't really get back into it afterwards. Like if stuff still happened and it was like funny, but like I just kept going back to that in my head. Like what the fuck? Like I was like mad about it.
You wanted to laugh, but then you went, this fucking lady probably thought that was great.
Yeah. It was
I legitimately started like looking for like flaws in the film after that. Like I wanted to pick it apart after that. It like messed everything up for me.
You need to rewatch it when it comes out on home, because it was a great movie. What do you give it out of 5?
I think I gave Barbie a 4.
Yeah.
Now that I'm a Redbox boy, I did
Letterbox.
Letterbox.
Yeah, Shane, get on Letterbox. You don't gotta like. You just
an app?
Yeah, you can write stuff. A lot of people write funny
I thought you had to like give reviews, like my brother does it and stuff like that.
Yeah, like
you can just rate movies.
I could just give it a rating out of 5, and I was like, all right, I can get on board with this.
So like I'll do a little write up, usually about like a newer movie if I see an older movie or if I rewatch something. But it's also like a good log to like, oh, I watched this year. I've seen this. So you can give it just out of 5 stars. You can just hit like. You can write something. You can write something funny, and like that's kind of like the bit of it. A lot of people write funny stuff. So if you go and read the reviews, but I use it like when I'm going to watch a movie that I haven't seen, I'll go to it and be like, oh, is it worth my time? Instead of going to like Rotten Tomatoes, I'll go to Letterbox and see like what out of 5 stars. So I got Bob on it. Audra's on it. Audra doesn't write anything. She just does the stars.
I didn't write anything either, but I did
Yeah, Marvel's on it. Bob's on it now. Bob's brother's on it. It's fun. It's cool.
I just downloaded it. I'll
Yeah.
set it up.
And then you can make lists like I've been doing, keeping track of like my top 10. So I loved Barbie. We saw Barbie first. I thought Barbie was great. I thought it was hilarious. There was a moment I was in tears for 2 minutes. It was one of these.
It's one of the belly laughs that RP keeps doing at these.
Like it was a stupid thing, and then like the next 3 minutes didn't matter because I wasn't paying attention because I was laughing so hard at Will Ferrell. I thought it was really, really creative. Yeah, there was that theater experience that sucked, but it not only was it female empowerment, it was actually just like straight up like male empowerment. Like if you want to be a dude, be a dude. If you want to be on your own, whatever. Ryan Gosling was fantastic. Margot Robbie was great. I was really, really happy with the film. I gave it 4.5 out of 5. And then Oppenheimer got 4.5 as well.
Okay.
But I have that ranked higher, and I've been back and forth with my rankings between these 3 films that we're going to talk about. Also, just a huge shout out to Greta Gerwig. Her and her partner wrote the film. I have liked everything that she's done, from Lady Bird to Little Women. There's another film I'm missing, I believe, but this, like, I really enjoy her work. I think she's really, really
a big
talented.
fan of Lady Bird too.
Yeah, and she's like ready to do these small films, but also do these large films. And like this movie, and that's what I kept talking about with her being attached to this, was that there was more on the surface than what they were showing in the trailers.
Mhm.
And the movie gets deep, like it does. It gets deep, and it's kind of like
trailers don't really show much.
No,
for either of these films, actually, in my opinion. Like Oppenheimer, there was very little from the trailer. Like the bomb's going off, and that's what they focus around. But there's so much more that happens.
See, yeah, I had no idea about the Oppenheimer during the Cold War stuff with all the communists.
Kind of the movie's based around.
I had no idea.
I had no idea either.
It was weird how they kept jumping back and forth.
Yeah,
between like the timeline.
But yeah, no, like both of these movies did a really good job of kind of hiding like the true points of their films. But yeah, this Barbie was hilarious, and then Oppenheimer, I was kind of I don't want to say misled, but like I thought it would, like you both said, like more about the bomb, and the part that I actually enjoyed the most was the after the bomb
sex. Oh
yeah. But this is what you're going to get with Nolan. I think this is one of his best movies. I don't think it's his best movie. But there was a lot.
Still the best?
I don't know. The Dark Knight's probably the best.
Okay.
But I watched Memento for the first time. I loved that. I thought that was great.
That's coming to Prime in a couple of days. I'm going to watch it.
Yeah. And I just bought Insomniac, so I'm going to watch that.
Insomnia is the only one I don't think I remember seeing.
Yeah. It's a 4.5 out of 5. Oppenheimer is, and the theater experience was great. It was one of the first times I've been to a movie where the entire crowd was respectful. We were in a nice theater. We weren't in IMAX. I messed up buying tickets, and I really enjoyed the movie. I thought the cinematography was beautiful.
I don't know that I needed the IMAX though.
So I was having this conversation at work the other day. As somebody who pays attention to that stuff, I would really enjoy. I enjoy the. And
I like in retrospect, I would go see it in IMAX. But like the first time I saw it, because that like as I was watching in my head, I was thinking like, all right, what parts of this movie would IMAX have enhanced?
And it's minimal. You think about a movie like Mission Impossible, which I was misled on, or an action film. You go, oh yeah, I want to see this on the biggest screen possible, where you don't really think of a 3-hour drama, something you want to see on the big screen. But
there were definitely times where the sound would have been like intense, or like the bomb obviously would have been more intense. Like
yeah, the sound,
I know where the IMAX would have played in.
Yeah, the sound alone would have been worth it. But just as a fan of premium viewing experiences and 70mm, like seeing things in the crispest, best quality, that's why I want to go see it. And also, just because I have been thinking about this movie every day since I saw it. There was a middle
premium viewing experience, the douchiest way of phrasing something.
Well, that's how they
know,
like
I
define
know.
it. Like premium large format is like literally a toggle on the Fandango app. But like I talked about this at work. People like talk about spending all this money on like food and drinks, and I'm like, I spend my money. I don't drop $100 on a bottle of liquor, but I'll drop $50 on 2 tickets to go see a fucking movie. And like once a month, something like that. Like or concert tickets or shit like that. Yes, it can be very douchey. I didn't mean it to be douchey. Since
No,
we were just
it's not. You
talking
didn't
about
make
the
the
IMAX.
phrasing. You didn't make the phrasing. I just think
No,
that's such a douchey way to phrase it.
yeah. But if a film is shot for IMAX and like with IMAX cameras, this entire movie, it's been all over like all the media about it. It's worth it, in my opinion, to go. I was misled with Mission Impossible. I thought they filmed for IMAX. There was not a single scene that expanded the aspect ratio at our theater. Maybe it was just our theater by mistake. However, seeing it on a large screen with amazing sound was worth it. But back to Oppenheimer really quick. There was a like good 45 minutes where I got kind of lost because they were just throwing names back and forth. If you have seen the movie and you're going to see it again, or you haven't seen it yet and are going to go see it, there's a hour and a half documentary on Peacock that I highly recommend. I started it. I haven't finished it yet, but I think it'll really help make everything easier to digest. Not that it wasn't to begin with.
What helped me out with that was that Bob actually gave me a heads up beforehand. Because he told me that you said that you got lost with all the names. He was like, look, they're going to throw names at you. If they're important, they'll show up again. So you don't even really have to remember anybody's name.
Exactly. And that's
until
why
they show up a second time.
Yeah.
And that's why Nolan.
Go ahead.
No, that's why Nolan, like you're like, why so many people are in the movie, because he said, even if he said from a script writing perspective, it's easier to just combine multiple characters into one. But he's like, this story, the way I wanted to tell it, everybody's so important. Even if they're on the screen for 2 seconds, I want you to see their face, know that they were important. So that's why like Josh Peck, who's in the movie for like 2 minutes, but he wanted a recognizable or
he was his character. It's not like, hey, we meshed these 3 people into one character for the sake of telling the story. This was a person. This was a person. This was a person. You also, I think, had like the mindset, which made sense that like this is a Nolan movie. These people are going to show back up later and they're going to be important. And I think you put like pressure on yourself to try to like remember all the people at the same time.
And also just from like a viewing experience, I always want to make sure I'm understanding everything, that my brain is processing everything that's being thrown at me. And this wasn't exactly right. If I needed to know this, they would have shown up again. Like I would have seen their face.
Whereas I was like, all right, noted, like that guy's a guy, and then it'd come back. Like, all right, that guy's a guy. Good to know. But like just like stop showing up.
My only like funny critique is that, and remember at the end of The Dark Knight Rises where he's like, oh, what's your real name? And he's like, Robin. And he's like, I like that. They like basically did that with like JFK. It's like, this young guy trying to make a name for himself. So Kennedy. But I really liked it. Go see it. But let's get into the one that we were supposed to talk about today. Mission Impossible. So Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 is about Ethan Hunt and the IMF team must track down a terrifying new weapon that threatens all of humanity if it falls into the wrong hands. With control of the future and the fate of the world at stake, a deadly race around the globe begins. Confronted by a mysterious, all-powerful enemy, Ethan is forced to consider that nothing can matter more than the mission, not even the lives of those he cares most about. On a budget of 200
premise for the last 3 fucking movies, for the record.
Yeah, this one's just AI. So
exactly. That's I'm saying, like the idea that like he has to let the people he loves go if that's what the mission calls for.
But this time it was way more impossible.
Exactly.
But the AI is like basically like a god. So it's directed once again by Christopher McQuarrie on a budget of $291 million. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 hit theaters.
The studio didn't have a lot of faith in this one,
Yeah, so
only $300 million.
The thing is, the placement of this film is awful. It's bad placement. They didn't want to move it. Tom Cruise didn't want to move it. They should have moved it. This would have been great.
Was it just they wanted like they just wanted a 4th of July blockbuster? Is that what it was?
If they wanted that, they would have moved it back a week or 2.
I don't understand the thinking there. You got these 2 movies that are like a major cultural event, and you think you're going to slide your movie in there too? Like, it doesn't make sense.
it's dumb. It's because Tom Cruise thinks he's Tom Cruise. Like he thinks it's going to be another Top Gun Maverick and people are going to keep coming and it doesn't matter. But it's not the case. Like you had a huge event coming up the following week, and sure, giving us that Tuesday release, more people the opportunity, more large screens. And mind you, Barbie is on no like has 0 premium formats except for like a couple Dolby and is making a shit ton of money. So that fight for the premium screen still shows that people will just go see a movie in the theaters. So it's not needed. But this isn't doing as well as they hoped. And it's a shame because it's a great movie. It's really good. It's so we'll just start getting into our review. Guys, what did you like about the film? And let's just start. Did it live up to your expectation? Shane, did it live up to your expectation? We had just done all these. We were leading into it. We were coming off Fallout. Did it meet your expectations?
I'd say yeah. It was good enough that it made it worth it that I watched the 6 movies before it. I wasn't disappointed. Like I didn't feel like I wasted my time.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
It's just a shame that they released it when they did. It's not gonna get the recognition that it normally would.
Mm-hmm. I agree. My expectation, I will say, while I really enjoyed it, it didn't hit my expectations, and I think it's my own fault. I also think they showed a lot of the big stuff in the trailers, but I had also had this notion of every film since 3, the next one was better. Like it just, each one got better and the stunts got bigger. And like this one, the big stunt was the big stunt that they had showed, and everything else was kind of smaller. Like I wasn't really like blown away where I was like, oh, this is cool. But I feel like they upped the ante like each film. But I think Fallout was just so fucking good. And like that last, where they're in the helicopter and everything like that, I just didn't think the train recaptured what the helicopter scene with Henry Cavill, like all that, like what that did. That's not a discredit to Dead Reckoning Part 1. That's just a credit to how good Fallout was. And so just looking at them within the series, and I said this to Bob when we were talking after Barbie, like where I was ranking things, and like I gave this a 4 out of 5, but that's because I think there was just so much, it's within the franchise, like within the Mission Impossible franchise. I think I've come to expect like a level of just more. But then like I keep thinking about the film, and there's so much cool shit that happens. Like the entire airport scene is awesome. And then kind of starting to peel back the layers of Ethan's past, like things like that. The Haley Atwell of it all, the like the anxiety in the scene where Rebecca Ferguson's fighting the any bad guy. Like he's just a generic bad guy.
The generic bad guy.
But I really liked this film. I thought it was great. I was really happy we all saw it together opening night in IMAX. Like it was a great theater experience. But I do think
this one, Shane had a popcorn hound next to him for Mission Impossible.
Dude, that guy was hungry.
Yeah,
I ate a bucket and felt like trash.
He ate 2.
Yeah,
about an hour.
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
That was my dinner, and they didn't have the theater we went to. It was like a movie night for kids. They were showing like Sonic, and they didn't have normal concessions. It was basically just like popcorn or candy. And that was
that
all
movie theater was like a goddamn like circus. Like it was nuts. But
dude, there's like people running around. There's people talking. It was a mess.
It was. But like I would, if I had popcorn, I would probably just would have kept putting it, because it's like it's an action film. You're like kind of on the edge of your seat. Like
I barely saw this guy's hand.
Popcorn and movies.
Movies. Love my popcorn.
Love my
movies,
popcorn.
Movies, popcorn. That's the greatest thing ever.
That was me. That was me at Mission Impossible, but nothing like the guy next to Shane.
Yeah, Bob, what did you think? What expectations? What did
I agree with like Fallout is a better film, I think, but Fallout, I think they moved forward with this, whereas Fallout had been, I forget the villain's name who'd been there for 3 movies at that point. Why can't I remember? his name?
Solomon Lane.
Solomon Lane.
Yeah, it's like Solomon. It was like that was still progressing. So you have like this like big bad that Ethan Hunt's still trying. He couldn't figure him out. He was always a step ahead, and so I think Fallout for that reason, just the stakes were higher. The missions might have been impossible, but
And it felt like a continued story.
yeah, it still felt continued. It was just this was like the next step.
Yeah, we're like, I mean, like with Fallout, like this one kind of felt like
But you still had like the characters and like where are they now? This is what's going on. But like this, whereas Fallout picks up with like Ethan's still chasing this guy, or there's like shit that he's still playing into. This one, there's some new IMF guy who brings Ethan a mission.
Yeah.
Well, maybe when we see part 2, it'll make you think about this a little differently.
So
it's kind of like
That's what
setting up part 2.
we said that I think afterwards. Like I can't think it's a good judge until I see how it all plays
Yeah,
out.
you'll probably appreciate it more if part 2 is a payoff.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. Like, I don't feel right judging this film like fully. Like on its own, I would rewatch this movie a bunch of times. I had even if Barbenheimer hadn't come out, I would have seen this again.
I think like just to touch on one thing just before I forget to bring it back up because you said it. There was just like the one big action scene, like the big scene, I guess, because like Cruise always has that, but there were so many small, like the chase scenes were funny in addition to being like intense, and like there's a lot of stuff. The airport scene, like there were a lot of smaller scenes that were just like not on the grandiose scale of Mission Impossible, but that I still enjoyed at the same time, if that makes sense. So I wouldn't say it's like worse as much as it's just it was different. Like it was different.
I would agree, and it wasn't different in a bad way. Like it was, they tried something new. They got a little bit funny with it. Which
it actually, I think it went back more to like the earlier, maybe like the first movie to an extent. Like when they're at the first scene in the first movie, when they go to like the dinner party and the one guy's in like the elevator and like
when he gets his face smushed.
Yes, he gets his eye. Amelia, Coach Bombay gets his eyes.
Well,
but like where it's just like it was more. I think it was in 3. They did the same thing at the party with Philip Seymour Hoffman, where like they spill the wine. It was just subtler or more subtle like espionage things.
That's a great point.
Like, hey, we're gonna climb this skyscraper. We're gonna jump off out of this airplane. Like all this like craziness. It was more all right. We'd have these established characters. People know who we are, and it made sense in the concept because this idea that like this AI was getting so smart that it could see and understand everything. Kind of had to like take a step back because they couldn't be as large scale. And I did like that was the concept. Like the AI is kind of like a hot topic right now.
I think
we've all seen Terminator, so like
I think it was done really well, the AI aspect, and to your point, like it was interesting because we're used to Benji and like Victor kind of not Victor, Luther being like the comic relief, where in this one it was actually Tom Cruise had a couple moments where like the situation with the little yellow car where he first gets in and he like is a bad driver and like crashes the car like real quick, and he's just like it takes him a minute. Like normally we're not used to that. And with that also, there was in the back half of the movie, no Luther, less Benji. And so I like that was a nitpick, but with their lack, other characters stepped up, like Haley Atwell's character, Vanessa Kirby, who I thought was great in this movie. I found her kind of annoying at points in 6, but I still liked her. And like this movie, I thought she was great. And her and her brother, which they're the children of Max from the very first one, which I had no idea.
I don't know how to say her last name. Palm Mantis from Guardians. Maybe my favorite part of the movie. She was awesome.
She was fucking badass. And the awesome part about that is they let her craft her character. Like
that's cool.
Like they just like let her have fun with it, do what you want. And that's why like she was kind of like all over the place, like very stylistic, but then also just a complete fucking badass.
Like the scene where she was in that like super tank and she was chasing them and she's just like freaking out the whole time in the car.
Yeah.
Like, it was awesome.
Yeah, like that, and that entire chase scene, I think maybe went on for like 5 minutes too long, but still was really cool because they
I feel like
switched
Mission
cars.
Impossible chase scenes tend to do that.
Yeah,
regardless. And there weren't as many motorcycles, so I couldn't be as mad.
Yeah, true. That's what I said. I said after the movie, I said there wasn't any motorcycle chases, but
So boring to me.
there's a lot to like in this film. There's a lot of great moments, like where the train's about to hit the yellow car and Tom Cruise gets out by just taking the wheel off the car. Like that was great. The airport scene, I think, was top. Like I think that was one of the best scenes in the movie.
It was intense. Like they did a good job of like making things suspenseful. A little classless to start the film with a submarine being
Oh yeah.
right after the whole Titanic thing. I thought that was a little inappropriate on their part.
Too soon.
Yeah, there was family members and people on that.
I did see somebody get up and leave.
Yeah, they threw their popcorn, but unfortunately the
Are
guy
you
The guy
sure-
next to Shane ate it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
are you sure the guy wasn't leaving to go refill his popcorn and just coming back?
But this AI, it was an interesting bad guy because we're used to seeing some of the bad guys be one step ahead of Ethan. This AI had thought out everything, and this is like a true fear that people have of AI is
I
to
do have-
do this.
a couple problems. Like they knew the AI could track anything on technology, but yet like Luther still used a laptop.
Until the end.
But I'm saying for like a long time. And
Oh,
then,
yes.
And I was like,
And then they would always be surprised when they got hacked or something.
yeah, they're hacked, and I'm like when they when they were at a party, and then the guy says basically like one of Ethan Hunt's two women at that point are going to die. And then they're like, all right, we're tracking them. And then all of a sudden they can't track them anymore. What a shock. This AI thing hacked your computer.
The scene where Tom Cruise is trying to run after one of the ladies and the AI hacks his earpiece and turns it into Benji, like, and he's talking to Benji. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
That was so fucking cool. I was like, this is awesome.
But like, I was like mad at Luther and Benji for not realizing that could happen.
Exactly.
Like you're fucking with technology.
Which makes me think, because Luther just like, there's like an hour to go, and Luther's like, all right, I'm going off the grid, which means I think he's going to have a badass entrance in part 2. Like he's going to show up and it's going to be like some sweet thing. He might not show up to the end, but he's going to have, because Tom Cruise is like, hey man, I got you. You don't got to move. You're just going to sit, and that's your thing. You're just going to, Ving Rhames just sits in these movies. He's
the guy behind in the chair, right? Is that what he calls it in Spider-Man?
Basically, yeah. That's basically what it is.
He just shows up, he's a bro for the whole movie, and he collects a check. Like you gotta respect it.
You have to. You gotta.
He's just the bro.
But then
He wears
Haley
a cool
Atwell,
hat and then he gets money.
he does wear a cool hat. Haley Atwell was a welcomed addition to the cast. I thought she was fantastic. The bad guy, Gabriel, was kind of whatever, but it's also this whole God theme of the AI is God.
He's like the number 2 in reality.
Yeah, and he's Gabriel, like Gabriel the angel.
Oh, yeah.
And then the key to the AI is a cross. So it's all like this all-seeing, all-knowing artificial intelligence is basically Ethan Hunt versus God.
Yeah.
Is kind of what they set it up to. And then the film concludes in like a hour-long action train sequence that is really well done, moves very quickly, looks great. I think the film looked great. There was nothing you're like, like that looks like shit. Everything looked great and felt realistic. I don't know about you guys.
It looks great. I always just have one problem with the movies is that their plans for everything, it just always seems so like overcomplicated and like convoluted, where they're like, we're gonna set up a fake swap, but we're really gonna sell them the thing, and then we're gonna just track where it goes. Like, why can't you just let the swap go anyway and then track it? Like, what, you got to do this whole thing of swapping people out just to do what they were going to do anyway.
Shane, someone needs to wear a mask.
They can wear masks, but then just sit behind and watch.
Mm-hmm.
They can just do mask reveals for themselves. Like, hey, look, it was me.
So
it just always seems like way overcomplicated.
It does. So the one interesting thing about the mask that I really liked was Vanessa Kirby's scene where she's giving over the key, where her eyes are brown.
I know,
because it's Haley Atwell, and I was like, this is actually like a cool thing that they did that nobody
I
that they're
didn't like that
selling.
no one in the movie caught it though. Like we
Like
all
her-
caught it right away.
Her brother should have caught it.
Yeah, like she
Like,
had
even if
blue eyes, and then she came out, and it was Vanessa Kirby, but with brown eyes.
Mhm.
And I like didn't like that no one acknowledged that.
Yeah, I didn't either, but I thought it was going to be a point, but it wasn't. It just
Yeah, it just wasn't. All three of us caught it and said
Mhm.
said something in the movie, but then it never
Mhm.
mattered. It was
Nope.
just like a little, just a minute detail that they did either on purpose or not. But
yeah. But you're right, Shane. Always the plans are like we have to let them get the key so then we can trace them because they didn't. The reason they had to give them the key was because they didn't know what the
I
key
didn't know what
was
it was
for.
for. It made
Yeah.
sense in this one, but the problem that I think Shane is having is that like just let the deal go down. You don't have to impersonate the guy making the deal.
It's extra steps that can
Yeah.
complicate it when you don't really need to do that.
Just
Yeah.
track the guy who's making the deal, and then when the deal happens, track the guy.
Exactly. You're tracking the guy to make the switch with him anyway. Just keep following him.
Yeah. So is there anything that you guys didn't like?
Like didn't like genuinely, or things that I thought were just so over the top ridiculous that like made me laugh.
Either or.
Like the train, the train going off the tracks at the end.
Oh yeah, we were like, is this going to go? I thought this.
Like, how many
I thought
cars
it-
are they going to do this for?
I thought it, and then you said it. I was like, they did it like 4 cars like fell off, and it was just them constantly
And
running.
every time they're just running to try to get off of the car before it falls, and then
Yeah.
they jump to the next one, and that one will keep going. And they did it for like 4 cars.
Which was kind of like was a Fast and Furious thing.
Yes.
Because like the one scene, Tom Cruise is like running up the train that's like falling off, and it's like it's like Fast and Furious 7 when Paul Walker's like running up the truck that's like falling off and dies. And people like kind of talked about that. They're like, yeah, we have to make this like more believable though. But
it reminded me more so, if I'm gonna go the Fast and Furious route, of like the 60-mile long runway.
yeah, 6,000 mile.
Where it's like the train is or the plane is just taking off forever, and it's just like, all right, this train's just gonna fall like forever.
But like that's like you can be like, oh, okay, like it's a train track.
Like, it was funny. It was something I commented about. It didn't take me out of the movie.
Yeah.
Each car had its own obstacles. It was like a floor's lava game that like I wasn't ready to watch on multiple levels.
Yeah.
But then, also like Ethan snaked the key back. And,
oh yeah. He stole it.
Gabriel found out.
Yeah.
Gabriel realized that he'd lost the key, and just on the back of a truck just screamed,
Luther,
Ethan!
Yeah.
And
Like a real 80s villain like move.
Yeah, 100%. I said it was like if like Zach Morris played a prank on Mr. Belding. Like,
Yeah.
that was the reaction that I would expect on Saved by the Bell. Not from this like I want to take over the world villain just to scream his name into the ether.
Yeah. Shane, what about you? Anything that you can think of? I know we saw this movie a little bit ago.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say same critique that scene was just like maybe one train car too long.
Yeah, and the parachute at the end. Remember that? We were both like, of course it's still there. Remember like the one he uses to escape?
He just happens to land in the train car where his parachute is.
But that with it only fitting one person, it opened up to I don't know if we've really ever talked about it, but like how do you join the IMF? And it's kind of like you have to be invited.
It basically seemed like so like with Haley Atwell's character, like she had nothing left.
Yeah, and Tom Cruise said, like you just say, I choose to accept this mission to the head of director who was in the first one, who came back. So his first one back from the first movie, he was also in this.
We didn't know up until this movie that they were basically all chosen because they were former criminals, did we? Like even Ethan?
No, I didn't know that.
Okay, because that was kind of a big reveal.
Yeah,
and
like,
that's what they all had this like Haley Atwell type past.
Yeah, and I kind of like that. I people kind of complain online with like the flashback scene, but I'm like, no, that was actually cool. Like it's something new about. We don't really know.
You don't know anything prior to him.
Yeah, but before the first movie, we don't know anything about Ethan. We don't know where he came from, what his background was. So I actually enjoyed that, and I'm looking forward to seeing that unveiled in part 2 because that made Ethan was afraid of Gabriel, and that's why he was like, no, we're done. Go home. This is over. And that's what the guys were like, no, we have to keep doing this. So I enjoyed that. The other thing I enjoyed, I noticed I said Vanessa Kirby before we talked. I was like, oh, I told you that they announced the cast of Fantastic Four, and that's now gone to shit. And potentially, nothing's going to happen for a while with the strike, but Vanessa Kirby's in talks to be her. And I said, oh, I don't know if I can see her as Sue. After this film, I definitely can. And I endorse her as Sue Storm.
I'm fine with her, Sue Storm. I
Yeah.
did. Another thing that like I didn't hate, but I was confused about. So they brought in Shea Wiggum and
Oh, he was great. He was fucking great in this
and
movie.
Greg Tarzan Davis. This guy's name is that's sick. And they were the two like were they CIA or FBI or whatever they were, and they was trying to get Ethan
Mhm.
because he was like the criminal, and I just like. Same thing as we said before. I know there's a second part to this movie. I liked both of those characters, and specifically the guy Dagus, who was Greg Tarzan Davis. He was the one, like, because he was like, "What would you do if you had the key?" And he's like, "I'd give it to somebody else. I don't need that much power." Like it was like he understood how they were behaving and wasn't just doing it because somebody gave him orders. I'm just like, I don't know where they go. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
So,
like what's their point next?
exactly. Like, what is their significance here? But that's hey, show me this in the next movie.
He was basically the replacement of Alec Baldwin. Shea Wiggum.
Okay.
That's how like I took it, like that type of figure. But you could say the guy from the first one too.
He's another one. I'm never upset when I see him in a movie.
He's
Like,
great.
Everything he's in, I feel like it just makes it better.
You know, he's the voice of Captain Stacy in Spider-Verse.
Oh.
Yeah. Didn't know that.
Shit.
Yeah.
He was our favorite death from Kong Skull Island.
Yeah.
He was the one who he tried to run at the thing with the grenades and it just smacked him into a wall.
He threw him into a wall. It's great.
Dude. I truly love him. I'm a huge Boardwalk Empire fan, and he is really good in that show. So that's where I found
anytime
him.
he pops up in anything now,
He's great.
It's always good.
So as we were kind of saying, it's hard to judge this fully, and I don't think we can. I think it's a good film. It ends.
I think we all liked it. It's just like I can't give it a definitive. Hey, this is the better because it's only half.
Yeah, and like you said, and I want to see the full story, even though part one is a part one, but it also is a movie in itself because it ends satisfyingly. It's not a cliffhanger like the recent part ones, like Fast X, just completely cuts to a black screen. Like,
do you guys want a fun Shea Wiggum fact? Just because I'm on his IMDb page.
Yeah,
he voiced George Stacy in Across the Spider-Verse. He was Gwen's dad in Across the Spider-Verse.
Is he doing a bit right now?
Are you doing a bit? Because I just said that.
I know. I was on IMDb and I wasn't paying attention to you.
Fair enough. Yeah, I can't openly fully judge this film. I'm gonna say what I gave it, where I rank it, but I want to see how the story wraps up in part 2 next year. Which shouldn't get delayed. I really just am bummed that this movie isn't going to make as much money as it should. But that's their own fault. That Paramount's a bunch of idiots putting this where it is. Tom Cruise hubris got in the way. So overall, I gave it a 4 out of 5 within the series. I have it at number 3, below Fallout and Rogue Nation. So below 5 and
I think
6.
I could put this too, though. I think I think Fallout is clearly the best.
Mm-hmm.
And then this could move.
It's probably 2 or 3. I'd have to watch them all again. I watched them all like so close together that
I mean, like,
it's hard for me to tell the movies apart at this point.
If part 2 of this is really good, I think this bumps up. If that makes sense.
100% agree.
Part 2 falls into a 1 or 2 role, then all of a sudden this moves up because it set that up.
Yeah.
I think Rogue Nation is the one that gets the cut. Like Fallout is good. It's not going anywhere. It's going to be a 3 movie regardless.
And this is like still, while I might be a little down on it compared to the last one, this is premier action, like the action franchise in movies. There's nothing like, sure, you can say like superhero movies, they're different. They're superhero movies, they have their action, but they have their element. This is strictly an action spy movie. Like, there's not many of these left. These types of films, like we see like Extraction, but that's on Netflix. Like, we don't really see a lot of these in theaters anymore. But these are phenomenal. I adore these films. I love them. And while its ranking might not be in terms of stars more than Barbie, I actually have this at 4 because it's another film that once it was over, it's all I thought about, and I can't wait to see it again. And Barbie too. I would definitely go and see Barbie again, but I have an attachment to the
Yeah,
franchise.
I was gonna say I think that there's just you have a build up like
Mhm.
fandom for this, so it kind of helps out the.
Yeah.
ranking for
I
this
also just can't say enough. Barbie was fantastic. Like, it was a true funny movie, and we don't get enough of those anymore too. So like, definitely love that. It's just been a good year for movies. Like, it's awesome to have these types of movies, these types of conversations where a clear
Well,
ranking isn't clear.
You said it's like been a good year for movies, and I do agree, and we talked about this before. But like, if you think of like award movies,
We haven't gotten them yet.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, like all the things that you think
Oppenheimer.
of, like aren't Barbie might honestly.
Barbie and Oppenheimer, based on what might happen with the strike, everything might get pushed too. So like, we might not get Dune, which will definitely be one. The Marvels won't be an award movie, but it's a movie I'm really looking forward to, despite not enjoying Secret Invasion really.
It kind of stunk.
I
It kind of
I
stunk.
don't even really want to watch it. Like I'm
The
just really
fin-
don't care.
1 through 5 was good. Me
They
and
were
Bob
fine. I'm not gonna say they
Yeah,
were good. They
I
were
heard the
fine.
finale was a stinker.
the finale was bad.
I just
There's
don't know what they were doing. I just saw on Twitter earlier today that apparently like Peacock has lost like $1.5 billion this year.
Yeah, we had our earnings call today. Because it's streaming's not profitable. Especially Peacock. Peacock was given to free for a lot of people.
It's
Whatever.
because there's too
It's a whole
many
other-
streaming services. That's why it's not profitable.
It's cable again.
Like Netflix was really big at first because it was the only one.
Yeah,
Or
but
what
now
else?
there's
There was like
everything. I have, like,
Netflix and Hulu.
17
That was it. Yeah, there's too many.
Yeah.
They need
My
to like start
problem.
consolidating them into,
But
into
those don't-
less.
RP, use your poll. Don't let Peacock go away so that I can watch my Premier League.
I
game.
won't. I got you.
I pay for it. I help them out.
Good for you, man. I send you like free codes all the time.
Yeah, I know. I use them.
But yeah, Secret Invasion fell flat for me. It was one of those things where it ended, Bob, where I was like, I feel like there left more questions than set
I
up.
saw your. Did you tweet about it?
Yeah,
right? I saw your tweet, and then I watched it yesterday, like afternoon.
Yeah, like
Turn it on and said like watch 2 minutes, and it was just one of those things. It was hot yesterday. I was out and like watched like 2 minutes. I was like, I'm definitely falling asleep during this. In like the middle of the afternoon, I just turned it off and slept for 2 hours in the middle of the day and felt fantastic.
Good for you, man.
Turned it back on, watched it, and then I went over to Shanks' house.
It was the first Marvel show where I was like I was watching it, but I wasn't excited like I normally am.
And I was even like, I caught myself, and it was, I think yesterday's episode was like 35 minutes, 40 minutes maybe.
Yep.
And I was like checking my phone, like looking at stuff on my phone. Like I just wasn't into it.
Nope. It's funny. The finale was kind of what they made fun of in She-Hulk, like the finale of She-Hulk, where they were like, "Oh, it's just a CGI battle at the end." While I did enjoy the scroll fight, I was like, it didn't feel.
Care either.
Yeah, like it didn't feel good. I really liked Emilia Clarke, but
I like her, but like I didn't care about Gaia. Like I liked her as an actress, but like the character I didn't care about. I liked her as an actor, but
they need to take a break from TV. Like they just do. It's not working.
I also don't think that scrolls translate to a visual medium because like the constant like, oh yeah, it's a person, but then no wait, it's a scroll.
Yeah.
It never gets old quickly. And you're always like, yeah, that's not like as soon as something's happening, I'm like, yeah, that's not actually that guy.
They could have really drilled down on the paranoia like that and they just didn't. Like what they promised, they just didn't deliver. Because this could have been a really good show. And I feel like what they set up at the end could lead to a better season than this. And I'm like, but what the fuck are you doing? And
I
it's
don't
like,
even know about that because I don't care.
I don't care either. And it's like, and I'm not the type of guy that needs cameos or anything. Like I would just give me a good story. And it for like the first 3 or 4 episodes, I was into it. And even, but anyway, that's a whole other thing. But for those saying the MCU is dead, I guess we got to take a great film and then we get a not so good one product with, Guardians and then this. And I really am excited for the Marvels. I love Miss Marvel. I really like, it's not Monica. What's her name? Monica Rambeau's daughter.
Oh, it's not. Yeah, it's
whatever her name is. I forget. And then I like Brie Larson. I think she has the opportunity to improve, but that's neither here nor there. But sorry about the freaking Secret Invasion tangent. But
no, it's Monica. Her mom was Maria. I was gonna say
that's
Monica.
it. Okay, yeah. So it is Monica Rambeau. I'd like them all. Fury. I think we're gonna get like it needs this, but I can see it not doing well. Because I don't know, man. It'll do better than Blue Beetle. I can tell you that much because Blue Beetle is going to make
Blue Beetle's going to be huge.
Yeah, biggest
I might
movie.
see it twice.
I might mess around and see it twice. Who knows?
I might do a double feature: Blue Beetle.
I really wish DC would get their shit together because
they just need to scrap. They need to scrap everything.
Just start over. I don't get it. Start over.
Isn't Blue Beetle supposed to be the first one for like the?
Yeah, it was.
No, he's the first character of the movie, but they just need to trash everything until Superman
This
Legacy.
isn't a James Gunn like he wasn't there yet when this was all being done.
No, Peter Safran was, but this is like the Flash again. Larry,
wasn't that the idea behind Flash that they were going to do Flashpoint in the movie, that they were going to like scrap everything, recast everybody?
Yeah, but
this is going to reset.
Shane, the thing is, it made it more confusing. Like honestly, like they promised it would be a clear reset. It wasn't.
I don't get how this.
It would have been. Well, maybe. Do we know that they ever put an end credit scene?
They did. Yeah, I saw it. Did I not tell you? Yeah, they put an end credit scene at the end, but it was fucking nothing.
They never revealed Batman.
No, they did.
Who is it?
Spoilers.
Well, I'm not seeing it again.
It was George Clooney.
Oh, that's dumb. Okay.
And then the end credit scene was Aquaman.
George Clooney, the worst.
You told me that there was an Aquaman Flash one. I think
sucked. It was so dumb.
We recorded the thing with Bill before, and there was like the theories as to who it was going to be.
Yeah, and the way the movie ended when we saw it, originally it was perfect.
I don't understand, man. Their comics and all their animated stuff is so fucking good. Like they never miss with the animated stuff.
That's why
live action sucks.
That's why. Well, it's because of Snyder, but
because there's some things.
Yes, exactly. There's some things he did well. There's a lot he didn't. But they just need to scrap everything. They're already going to lose a shit ton of fucking money.
Before you go into this, list the things that Zack Snyder didn't do well, because I can't even think of one.
The thing he didn't do well.
I'm a big fan of his use of slow-mo. All 700 minutes of it.
No, the thing he didn't get right was not casting Ezra Miller as every superhero. Yes,
yeah, that's right. That's fair.
But no, they're going to lose a shit ton of money. They would have made more. They would have lost less money if they didn't release the Flash than they lost by releasing it. Blue Beetle's going to lose them a shit ton of money. Shazam lost them a ton of money. It's because their people are aware and people don't care. Wait until Superman comes out. Another
thing I don't get though is all online. All you see is people like, "Oh, DC's so much better than Marvel. Marvel sucks. MCU's dead. DC's way better." But then no one goes and sees the fucking movies.
It's all Shanks.
They're just vocal.
Yeah, it's all Shanks.
That's why.
Well, like. Here, like, just to put that in perspective, like
that's what they always say though. The DC fans don't show out. That's the problem.
Also,
so shut your mouth and stop comparing the two.
Kids aren't going to the DC movies because fucking Justice League was too fucking long and dark and confusing.
Yeah, and the thing is,
like Chris's son, well, like a movie comes out and he wants to go.
Yeah, he wants to go see the Marvel movies.
But it's just the Marvel movies he's invested. So like. I get that, like, there's that edginess to the DC stuff, but like, you're alienating an audience.
Yeah,
that's what you already do. Like, and then the movies aren't good, which makes it worse.
Yeah, I agree. They did people. They need to just grab everything and wait until Gunn reboots it. I mean, Gunn's knows his superhero stuff. It's going to be good.
Yeah, I agree. Just stop with all this.
And it's
all
a
this
shame though.
Stupid shit.
Even though I didn't really want to see The Flash continue, The Flash was an entertaining movie. There's a lot of things that weren't amazing, but it was an entertaining film and like what you expect to see in the summer, and it just completely bombed because people just don't care. But
there was also the Ezra Miller aspect of things.
That's true. But I think that
was like it was doomed to fail. I feel like.
Yeah, I think that about does it for us here. If you want to help the show, visit our T Public and Redbubble store. It's in the show notes.
There's thick, Impossible Rewatch merch.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's honestly probably my favorite merch that we've done so far.
I think Jurassic Recorded is still up there for me, but
that's that one too. They're my top two right now. It's really cool merch.
And the Star Wars ones that got taken down.
I'm not just saying that because I get a cut of the merch. Like you guys,
because we don't get a cut of the merch.
Even if we did, I'd buy so much of it. That I'm just putting all the money back into it anyway.
We're just going into it.
But yeah, no. If you want to help us out, go and support us there. Buy some magnets, stickers, T-shirts, whatever. And just go to the movies. There's a lot of great movies coming out. TMNT's up next. Blue Beetle, as we said.
Also, I know it's early, but this Christmas season, if you live in the Philadelphia area, be on the lookout because I'm buying a bunch of previously recorded magnets and slapping them on.
Just slap it and sticking. That's the way we like it. Guys, before we go, anything to plug?
I just started the final season of Better Call Saul, and it's fantastic. I recommend that, especially to you because I know you just finished Breaking Bad.
Yeah,
it's another 6 seasons, which I know is daunting, but it's the writing is as good as Breaking Bad.
Yeah, I started it, and it's like Mayans, like with Sons.
First season drags because it's all like legal shit.
Yeah,
but then like it picks up its stride and it gets good.
All right,
they start bringing in like good characters from Breaking Bad.
Maybe when I need a show.
It's a great show.
I'm watching Righteous Gemstones. It's been funny.
I've heard good things. Do you like it?
Yeah, I got to do that season 2.
Yeah,
I haven't started yet.
Yeah, I'm all caught up. It's been it's funny. It's enjoyable. Anything, Bob? How about you? Anything to plug?
I'm all old stuff right now. I did read The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which is the Hunger Games prequel.
Oh yeah,
I liked the book, so I'm gonna. We talked about doing a rewatch. I don't know what's in the cards, but I'm rewatching. I watched the Hunger Games last week. I'm gonna rewatch the movies, but then other than that, like I'm Scrubs. I'm catching up on Welcome to Wrexham. I'm a year too late. I have 1 episode left of that, but we're gonna see them tomorrow. So I feel
hell yeah, baby.
Final story for 2 years ago.
Yeah,
we already know how next season.
Anyway.
Yeah. And then over the summer, I said I was gonna watch One Tree Hill, so I've been watching One Tree Hill.
How's that treating you?
My life seems like I'm part of One Tree Hill, so that's.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
It's a teen drama, so not
good. Yeah.
He's brought up One Tree Hill the last couple times at Quizzo, so I think he's enjoying it.
I do like it, but it's just like it is such a typical like CW type teen drama. Yeah. Somebody almost dies every 3 episodes.
That's why I couldn't watch it. That's not for me.
If you go, it's like a soap opera. If you go like 1 full season without there being a horrific car crash, where someone survives, they're fine. Like something you did something you're not watching, you're not paying attention.
You're not doing something right. Got
exactly.
It. All right. Well, that's some recommendations from us. Yeah, guys. I guess we'll just recommend Mission Impossible, Barbie, Oppenheimer. Go see it all. Thank you guys for supporting the show, listening, and we'll see you next month for our vending machine draft.
Sure, why not?
All right, cool. Bye, guys.
We're cooking something up. We'll figure it out what it is.
Bye.